Chapter 6. Welcome to Meathead Public Library. Last we're going to find out what happened to Hiccup. He's still swinging from that window ledge. Argh! Screamed Hiccup around his head at the third, swinging violently this way and that, trying to get his other hand back onto the ledge. Stealth Dragon, help me! The Stealth Dragon would have been happy to help out. Unfortunately, however, it did not hear Hiccup's desperate cries. It too had caught sight of the lesser squirrel servant, and it hadn't eaten since the previous evening. So, appetite had won out over military discipline, and the Stealth Dragon was already 100 metres away, swooping after the unfortunate squirrel serpent like a sparrowhawk after a mouse. Zing! A wickedly sharp northbow arrow narrowly missed, taking off the tip of Hiccup's nose. Zing thunk! Zing thunk! Two more wickedly sharp north bow arrows plunged deep into the backpack, slung over Hiccup's shoulder. Released from their chains, the snarling driller dragons spread their wings and leapt into the air, the drills on the ends of their noses viciously whirring, flying swiftly upwards to where the boy was hanging. Two pairs of hands closed over Hiccup's wrists, and Tamakazi and Fishlegs, who were now kneeling on the window ledge, hauled him upwards with a strength they did not know they had, through a hail of arrows. They were only just in time. As they dragged Hiccup through the window and into the library, the drill of the leading driller dragon just missed the back of Hiccup's heels. The dragon howled in fury, for the window was too small for it to enter. "Oh, thank God you're safe," panted Kamikaze, as they all now stood inside the gloom of the library, while the driller dragons revved up their drills to an excruciating whine and screamed in frustrated fury outside. "You call this safe?" coughed Hiccup sarcastically. "Argh!" screamed Hiccup, Fishlegs, Kamikaze and Toothless falling back as a terrifying 6-foot-long drill, sharp and spinning, sliced through the air between the four of them. The leading driller dragon was not going to be defeated. In a blinding rage, it had thrown itself at the window, cracking it wider so that it could shove its gigantic head and one outstretched arm through the opening. "Roar!" roared the driller dragon, shaking its head wildly from side to side as it tried to push its way in. Two great cracks appeared on either side of the window as the brickwork burst, splitting the room from floor to ceiling. The monstrous creature gripped the edge of the opening with its one arm and heaved its way forward. It had already worked one gigantic muscled shoulder through. Hiccup watched in fascinated horror as its drill whirled even faster in its excitement. 2 seconds more and it would be in the room with them. And Hiccup grabbed the nearest thing's hand, which happened to be a small marble statuette of the great god Thor, resting on a podium, and he lobbed it at the dragon's head as hard as he could. By total fluke, it caught the creature right between the eyes, totally depressing and whiting out a spot about the size of a large pimple that just happened to contain the driller dragon's entire brain. Even a driller dragon cannot function without the use of its brain, small as that brain might be. 1 second, the creature was plunging forward, roaring manically. The next it collapsed, as limp as a lettuce and as dead as a dinosaur, its limbs jerking a little for a moment and then going still. Only its drill continued to whir, but more and more slowly. The 3 Vikings and 1 small dragon stood stock still in the now quiet, darkened library, great clouds of dust billowing up around them and beginning to settle down again on the floor. The drill rolled slower and slower and slower and finally stopped. "Okay then," whispered Kamikaze shakily, "so now we're safe." "Safe! Safe!" panted Fishlegs furiously. "Safe we'll be if we were putting our feet up back on Burke, which is where we should be if we hadn't listened to your crazy idea in the first place, Kamikaze. In what possible way could you call the situation we find ourselves in as safe?" "Oh, you boys," shrugged Kamikaze, "you're such warriors. All we have to do now is find the book, pilfer it, scarper back here again, climb up the window, call to the old Stealth Dragon, and fly back home to Burke. I mean, trust me, Fishlegs, it's no problemo. Watch and learn, boy. My boy, watch and learn." "No problemo," raged Fishlegs, "no problemo." "Okay then, little miss, we'll be back in time for tea. Just exactly how we're supposed to climb out the window now that Bird Brain here is jammed right in it." He flung out his arm to indicate the dead driller dragon, who was indeed stuck so tightly into that window he could have been wearing it as a pair of trousers. "Ah," said Kamikaze thoughtfully. "And that's the only window," Fishlegs pointed out. "We'll just have to walk out the front door then," said Kamikaze defiantly. "With that be the same front door which even now, at this very moment, metered warriors and their driller dragons are pouring through in their hundreds looking for us? In their hundreds, when you said that the library was only guarded by one small, mad librarian? Asked Fishlegs politely through gritted teeth. I didn't think you would come if you thought there was more on my guard, Kamikaze pointed out reasonably. Not coming would have been a very good idea, said Fishlegs. Something caught Fishlegs' eye and he turned, even whiter than he was already, attempting to climb a nearby column in his anxiety. Look, gasped Picard, nodding in the direction of the ground with a jerk of his head. The floor, it seems to be moving. The pattern on the floor was indeed moving in a sinuous, writhing wriggle that was almost hypnotic to look at. Oh, that, said Kamikaze carelessly. That's just the red-hot itchy worms that are alarming the floor. Okay, so we'll have the rest of the chapter